This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with an incredible musical theater performer, the one and only Tony Lehman. But before we get to our interview, here's a sneak peek at Tony's incredible talent.
Ready? Okay. Hi, I'll be your guide. I'll be your GUIDE to the other side. Don't go to the netherworld. Did I say netherworld? Never mind. I'm the B to the double EJLE, and Jesus, I can't spell. The good news is you and your spouse died in your own house. That gives you clout. Means the two of you should stick around. Lucky for you, I dropped by. Yeah, you seem like nice guys. Little on the Pottery Barn and dry white wine side. As for me, I've been scaring for millennia. I'm the bio-exorcist, giving houses enemas. Blush out all the breathers, you can breathe easy. Stick with me, I'm like a ghost zombie Jesus. It's the perfect day to die, cause this guy happened to be passing by to give you control of your soul to the whole being dead thing. The whole being dead thing.
Well, hello, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Tony, I am doing so much better now that we are finally talking. My goodness, you are so talented. I want to know, Tony, where'd you grow up? And I want to know what musicals you were listening to as a kid, and also any dream roles within the musical theater canon?
So I grew up in a really, really small town in North Carolina called Franklinton, which I don't expect anyone to know. But it has a population of 1,000 or something. Yeah. So I grew up there. And growing up, I listened to musical-wise, I listened to a lot of 9 to 5 because it was one of the first musicals I ever did.
What role did you get to play in 9 to 5?
I played Josh Enright, who is the son of one of the main ladies. His name is escaping me.
Oh, please. I don't know.
I don't even know. It's Josh Newstead. I mix up the last name as well.
I was just sure.
God, I'm horrible with names. I got to play him.
9 to 5. What other ones were you listening to?
Oh, geez, when I was a kid. I know I listened to Phantom because, of course, I did. I definitely listened to a lot of the mainstream stuff growing up as a kid because it was just what was easily accessible.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of Star Kid as well, which is a project that Darren Criss had and Joey something. It was a YouTube theater project that they did, I think, at their college. They made a lot of amazing musicals that were kind of more comedy based.
Yeah.
So I think they did one that was a Harry Potter musical, which was about Harry Potter. And it was just mixing comedy and musicals which I adored.
Yeah.
So I got more into that. And then growing up, I got into School of Rock, Beetlejuice, and just I tried to explore more of the older stuff like Pippin and stuff. And I'm still today learning more about musical theater. I don't know enough.
Well, no, please. You're doing great, Tony. You're so young, and yet you are already doing so great. You are in Manhattan, so that's such a big feat. I'm curious to know, Tony, I'm so happy you actually didn't answer the role question because I think you're the type of talent. No, I think you're the type of talent that a role is going to be written for you. Because,
thank you.
We spoke off camera and you said that we could talk about it. But I don't want to make this all about that because it isn't. But the fact that you identify as he, him, as a trans man, as someone also an individual living with autism, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. The fact that you've been able to take all of these things that our society maybe sometimes think, oh, what a struggle, that you use it as your superpower, that you use it as a positive light force is unbelievable. And I don't even have a freaking question. I'm just go Tony. And also I'm thinking about Tony, all the young Tonys out there who now have a North Star to look up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox or I'm gonna become Oprah crying. I don't know why I even just compared myself to Oprah, Will. She has like 5 billion viewers and you have 3. Okay, Tony, I want to know, when did you move to the city and how have you been able to kind of, keep your creative juices flowing during this time?
So I actually moved to the city during the pandemic. I moved during July of 2020 because I was in college in North Carolina, and I was actually a computer science major. And yeah, I know.
I love it.
Yeah, and before the pandemic had started, this is a whole story. I'm sorry.
Please, I just spoke for 50 minutes, Tony. You can speak as much as you want.
But before the pandemic had happened, I think January of 2020, I came up here to New York for the first time ever. And I was like, oh, I'm going to see my first Broadway show. Because I mean, we don't they do come down to North Carolina, but like I just had never really been able to see them. So I was like, I'm going to go see my first show. This is something I've done all my life. And while I'm not pursuing it, I still want to see it. And I went and saw Beetlejuice with the amazing Alex Brightman and Sophia and Caruso, and just amazing cast. And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've never seen something on such a large scale because I grew up doing community theater. And I was like, oh, I miss this. I want to do this. And so I was like, you know what? If I can somehow find a reason to move up to New York, if I can get an excuse, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I applied to a school up here, and auditioned and everything. And I got in, and I was like, all right, cool. It was, I don't go there anymore, but it's called the Institute for American Musical Theater.
Yeah.
It's just like a tiny little conservatory in Washington Heights.
Don't denounce it. You got in, and what you did so beautifully, Tony, is that you saw something that sparked the inner child within you.
Yeah.
That said, that's my bliss. And you said, Matt, universe, I'm going to somehow make it here. Provide me with a yes. And even though you're no longer there, that was the yes that you needed to really do what you needed to do.
No, it was definitely like, I'm so happy that I was able to like have that like spark to be able to have me move here. So I moved up here. I'm mostly now just focusing on my craft. I work at a studio in Midtown. I work at Open Jar Studios.
Wait.
Okay, so yes,
Jeff Whiting is one of my great friends, and he's a Phoenix artist as well.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, he's such a lovely man.
Okay, time out. I have to make this about me now because you spoke for way too long. No, I'm just kidding. Jeff Whiting, truly, I'm gonna get emotional. Jeff Whiting, when I moved here in 2006, after college, I was a performer many years, God bless, great career with my brother, yay Carnegie Hall. But Jeff was the one that ignited my love of wanting to become a director from a very, very young age. And he has become a North Star of me, not only his humanity, but like his artistry and what he's done with Open Jar Studios, as you know. So I want to ask you then, to work at a place, I wouldn't even consider it a day job. And I hate that word day job because I feel like as an artist, we act, and those who act find a way to somehow get paid to still be involved in it in some way. In Open Jar, you could not be at a more perfect incubator of not only great art, great shows, rehearsing the best of Broadway and beyond, but it is a studio that in the middle of the pandemic, well, why don't then I and you tell me what you've done at Open Jar throughout the pandemic in helping the arts in the greater New York City community?
God, it's been amazing. So like being able to like work there and still like be able to facilitate like shows to rehearse and stuff, especially if things have been closing and opening. Because one thing, like I'm not obviously like meant to like I'm not promoting them just because they're making me. Like I adore Open Jar. Like
I basically gave them a free promotion. Okay? So like yes and me, baby.
Yeah. But I adore this space. It is genuinely one of the, especially during the pandemic, like one of the cleanest spaces that you can be. Like Tony, I feel so safe there. It was the
only place I rehearsed in the pandemic. It was the only place I felt comfortable. They did everything right, from filtration to checking, to to temperature checking before this was even the vaccination
Yeah.
cards came out. And they put together the Broadway Relief Project that Jeff
Yeah.
spearheaded that got national attention. Talk to me a little bit about that and how you were involved with that.
God, I
Were
wish
you
I was
there at that
born.
point?
I was not. I didn't join until October of 2021. I'm very I'm relatively new, but being able to see like because they also have like a oh God, they also have another project that's like I think Broadway Education something that helps like a bunch of like underrepresented artists like who want to like spark these shows and stuff who don't necessarily have the financial stability.
Is that the Open Jar Institute?
I think so. I know they have the institute within the school, which helps a lot of people who can't
You're
necessarily.
right. There's something else for lower socioeconomic
Yeah,
artists who it's almost like a scholarship.
yeah, it's a scholarship, and it's so amazing because like being able to send it off because a lot of times I send off these emails like of these like amazingly talented like writers and performers who would like love to have their stories and their communities heard, like being able to like help them and like especially in Manhattan when like they're like I understand being underrepresented, but I'm also still like white. So I'm like I still have it a little bit easy, but like seeing like more stories be able to be told and like being able to slightly help in any way is like it's so nice to see. And it's so nice to see that it's happening in the theater industry. And that I can work at a place where it's very much like valued. And it's just yeah.
No, and sorry to interrupt, but I'm also just
No,
thinking
you're
as
fine.
an artist to be able to be a part of that empowering. I'm sure for you
Mm.
as an individual artist, it's helped ignite you in
Oh, definitely.
realizing, oh my gosh, my story matters. And there are places where the conversation has changed, where other stories that may have been in the background are now in the forefront. And it's people like Jeff Whiting and Open Jar
Mhm.
Institute in the amazing rehearsal studios that they have there. We're on the same page. We love Jeff and Open Jar. Listen,
Yes.
Tony, I can speak with you forever. Before my final question, I want to let
Mm.
everyone know, for more on the amazing Tony Lehman, you can read more about him right below this video. Tony, I want to know, in looking forward, what you're most optimistic about as we go into 2022, theaters starting to open up, maybe even, auditioning starting to happening more.
Mhm.
What are you most optimistic about?
Um, what I'm honestly something I'm both terrified and very excited about is that speaking of open door, but I wrote a play. I because as much as yeah, sorry, as much as like I'm a performer and stuff, I very much like was speaking to a lot of people in the industry about like writing and stuff. And like seeing like people I looked up to also like because I got to meet Alex Brightman a few times and like work in a master class with him and just seeing how he's a writer and a performer and stuff. And I was just like, that's something I know I can do if I put my mind to it. And so I've spent this past year writing a show talking about the trans experience and also how it correlates with family and a mixture of chosen family and blood family and how are you willing to like forgive those who have harmed you, but also like what it means to be family. And it's not just blood relation, it is those who choose to be there in your life. And just moving on and dealing with forgiveness and also moving on and acceptance. I'm not giving like there's so much to it, and I'm really excited that I'm doing my first workshop for it in February at Open Jar, and I'm very excited.
Is it an open
Um,
invitation? I'm already crying over here.
it is, yes. I want anyone who is happy and willing to come and hear it, just so I can get feedback.
Tony, time out. Do you have a date?
February 9th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Open Jar Studios.
And what's the name of the show?
That's an amazing question. I'm horrible with names. I haven't made it.
Great, it's
Um,
untitled. Listen, ladies and
yes,
gentlemen,
it's
I want to let you know it's an untitled original piece by amazing Tony Lehman, and I want to now correct myself when I said musical theater performer.
oh
We
no,
are talking with, ladies and gentlemen, a theater artist. Tony, I have chills. You had me laughing, tearing up, and we just met. But the fact that we are now connected, this is the beauty of this app.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't know you. I just spoke with someone from freaking Korea, and here you are down the block
Yeah.
working at literally one of my greatest friends, my biggest inspiration in this Manhattan that I was able to direct because this guy, when I was young, said, Will, you're a director, but keep doing your performing, but you are a director. I'm like, you are a perfect example of an artist who came here with an inkling of a dream, was sparked when he saw a show that ignited a spark that said, go for it. And letting go of the how, and it happened, and you're making it work. And now here you are at the place of employment, being able to show another part of you that you probably didn't even realize was in there, that you got inspiration from your Alex Brightman, Beetlejuice. I mean, it's all, look at, I'm overwhelmed. I need a break. I probably need meditation, but it's all good because Tony Lehman, I'm so grateful that you're coming on board this amazing new app, but also selfishly, I'm so excited that we are now connected.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got to meet you. This has been amazing.